thank you for the introduction. My name is Hao Dinh, and what I'm going to talk about in the next few minutes is the human side of digital transformation. And before I do that, actually just give you some background around what I've been doing the past 20 plus years is leading digital transformation for the various companies that are listed here. And for sure, during my presentation, I'll share with you some of the real-world experiences I've had around focusing on the human side of digital transformation to ensure success in some of these projects and these companies. So the key takeaways I'd like for you to get from our discussion today is really threefold. One is what exactly is human capital? And from my perspective, why it should be a priority focus when you do digital transformation. Second topic is discuss why aren't companies focusing on human capital? And then lastly, as I mentioned, some real world examples of how when you do focus on human capital, it helps you with enabling a better success associated with your digital transformation. So let's actually talk through the various types of definitions out there. And there's digitalization, digital transformation, and they're all different. It all starts with us taking analog information and digitizing it, and then taking that digital information and actually making our work easier and simpler. And then lastly, digital transformation, which is exactly what I'm going to talk about today, is the definition is using technology in changing the way we conduct our business. And if you see in the visual here, there's 4 key areas that you can focus on when it comes to digital transformation. Empowering your employees, engaging your customers, optimizing your operations, and then transforming your product. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on today is around digital transformation. And if you look up digital transformation, you'll see that it is a multi-billion-dollar opportunity. And then on top of that, it's been deployed now for a while. Companies such as McKinsey here on the upper left has done some analysis to show that the companies that are leaders in digital transformation, they actually create more revenue and create more profit. So the opportunity is there, and then for sure, it's been shown that if you do digital transformation right, you improve your financials for your company. But as you imagine, doing digital transformation is requiring a lot of change in an organization. And change causes a lot of disruption, and that disruption needs to be addressed when you go through your digital transformation initiatives. And my argument is the changes that are associated, driven by technology, actually that's not the high-risk issues that we need to address. And the reason why I say that is because, again, I've been doing this digital transformation for a while, and the technology has gotten very good. And it's gotten to a point now where there are cookie-cutter approaches out there for various types of digital transformation technologies. Augmented reality, for example, has been shown in real use cases to increase demand for your products when you use it and also increase sales. The cases here are around predictive maintenance using artificial intelligence. The United States Department of Defense and also consumers in the renewable energies have used artificial intelligence to improve their predictive maintenance capabilities. And then lastly, RPA, robotic process automation. There's ample examples out there of how this technology can improve operations, lower costs, and improve quality in your organization. So from my perspective, what we need to focus right now is not on the technology when we do digital transformation, even though you still need to address it. But the key thing that I think we need to address is what I call human capital. And the definition of human capital is the economic value of your workers' experience and their skills. And in particular, a human capital is associated with the training, the education, the intelligence, the skills, and the health associated with your employees, particularly in this case around the human capital needed to have a successful digital transformation. So what I want to do now is walk you through a little bit of detail around these various components that make up human capital. So let's first talk about education and training. If you look at the left-hand side, you'll see that it's the traditional way that we go through our education and training. We go to school and get educated in a certain industry or area. We get a job in that industry, in that area. we get some training on that job, again, in that industry, in that area, and go through iterations of getting promotions, again, in the same industry and and area of focus for our education up to a point to where we retire. And again, that's what I went through, and a lot of us have gone through. But in today's digital world, it's more like the right-hand side, which is not a linear approach. It's where you can definitely go to school and get a degree in one area, but your first job might not even be in that area that your degree is in. And then as you progress through your career, you could be jumping around different jobs, different areas of focus, and then also you could be changing careers as in different industries. And think about what we're doing when it comes to digital transformation. For example, we're asking a maintenance engineer who has gone to school and is an expert around maintaining their equipment in their plant. We're asking him now to go learn about artificial intelligence, to go learn about the Internet of Things. These are all skills that are not part of their traditional training, but skills that are needed for them to do well around deploying the Internet of Things and artificial intelligence associated with their equipment. So something that we need to address when it comes to deploying digital transformation is the education and training that's needed for the people that are affected from the technology. Around intelligence and skills, there's really two types of mindsets associated with our intelligence and our skills. It's the fixed mindset and the growth. The fixed mindset is really what we've asked our workforce to do for many years. Come in for 8 hours a day and do the same repetitive stuff over and over, and really not challenging them to think outside of the box per se, and then not challenge them to go do new things out of the status quo. We all know that that's changing, and in today's world, what you need to be successful is what we call growth mentality. Particularly when you do digital transformation, you're trying new things, and it's going to be very challenging. So you got to have a growth mindset to understand that you're going to fail, and then have that perseverance to keep going and learning from your failures so that you get better and better at this new thing that you're trying. So again, from a human capital perspective, and when we're doing digital transformation, let's help our employees get from that fixed mindset to the growth mindset. Whoops. And then just quickly, something relating to the brain, especially when it comes to trying to get our workforce to be more of a growth mindset. Our brain is thousands of years old, and it is here to protect us. That is the number one goal of our brain. And in our brain, anything that is different from the status quo, it considers that a threat. And in the brain, it has no idea the difference between a tiger, a tiger getting ready to attack us compared to a change to the status quo of the way we've been fine to do our work. It considers both as a threat. And our brain would do its very best to avoid that threat. In our case, for digital transformation, our brain is hardwired to not accept that digital transformation that we're trying to do. And this is important to know because even though people might see the benefit associated with a digital transformation, their brain is not hardwired to accept that change and embrace it. So again, we need to focus on getting our workforce into that growth mindset to accept these new types of challenges. And I want to highlight that McKinsey & Company last year or late last year, they did a research around, I think, 1,900 companies around digital transformation and looking at, are there some common threads of success factors associated with digital transformation? And what they concluded is there's 5 key areas that if you include this in your digital transformation, then you have a higher chance of success when it comes to doing digital transformation. What I've done is I've highlighted in bold the 3 areas that associate with human capital: invest in the talent, embrace the growth mindset, and then empowering your people. So again, the numbers, or actually the research has shown that human capital should be a key component of focus when it comes to digital transformation. And the last area I want to talk about when it comes to human capital is our employees' health, in particular their mental health. Through my experiences deploying digital transformation, the first thing that comes mentally to an employee when we talk about bringing artificial intelligence or when we talk about doing automation, they mentally start thinking about, is this new digital transformation going to take my job? And that's something that we need to address because we need to have our employees fully engaged and mentally stable when we do these digital transformation projects. And in the cases where, yes, these digital transformations will affect their job security, we need to address that around, there's some upskilling or reskilling that we can provide them so that they can be part of this transformation. Or in a situation where it's not going to replace them, we need to tell them that and also advise them that they're critical to be involved in the digital transformation to make it successful. In addition to mental health, also think about your employees' emotional health. As I mentioned before, people are going to think right away, is this digital transformation going to take my job? And we need to work with them from an emotional perspective and make sure that emotionally they understand what's happening and address it accordingly. And why aren't companies actually focusing on the human capital side of digital transformation? And from my perspective, it's because it's not the exciting piece of digital transformation. The exciting piece is talking about artificial intelligence, talking about the Internet of Things, right? Talking about blockchain. But when you start talking about education, training, intelligence, and your employees' health, that's not the exciting part associated with digital intelligence or with digital transformation. And also, if you think about it, it's very hard to measure the success associated with this human capital side of things. So the fact that it's not very sexy and also hard to measure makes it very difficult for companies to focus on it when it comes to digital transformation. But as I've shown before, and from my experience, it's a critical part of success when it comes to digital transformation. So what I want to do now is walk you through some real-world examples of how I focused on human capital and how that helped improve our success associated with digital transformation. The use case is we want to do predictive maintenance in our factories. And predictive maintenance is where you put sensors on equipment in a factory. That's sensing data, vibration, speed, temperature, whatever, is called big data. And you feed that big data into an artificial intelligence engine. And that artificial intelligence engine gives you forecasts when it thinks the machine can possibly fail. And what you do then is you fix the possible failure before it fails so that you have more uptime in your machines. And by having more uptime in your machines, you get to produce more products. Again, very beneficial for companies. And in this use case, I've got 100 maintenance engineers that will be affected by this predictive maintenance digital transformation project. So what we did is, just like any other projects we all work on, we pilot a predictive maintenance project. And we actually spoke to the 100 maintenance engineers and discussed with them what are the machines that are having the biggest issues from their perspective. Why these machines break down very often and they don't know why. And this was done so that, again, we can scope out a manageable pilot, but most importantly, to engage the workforce, the maintenance engineers, so that they feel that they're truly involved in this predictive maintenance project. Get them involved and get them to be part of this growth mindset that I've talked about earlier. When it comes to education and training, from day one, we identified the maintenance engineers that were responsible for those 3 headache machines, and they were put in a boot camp that taught them the very basics of artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, and all the way up to the fact, all the way up to understanding what exactly is the algorithms that will be developed, because we wanted them to fully understand what we're trying to do, so they're not scared of it. Again, going back to the mental and emotional health of our employees, and then also getting them to understand that they are a critical part of the success of this project. When it comes to intelligence and skills, what we did is we introduced what we call the minimum viable product, MVPs, which we all know when you do artificial intelligence projects, the first couple of prototypes that you have are not going to be successful. So we went through that exercise with them to show them that, hey, the first 2 or 3 or 4 insights associated with artificial intelligence predictive maintenance were not successful. don't worry, it's expected because we need to go learn from these failures so that we get better. And then again, helping our employees get to that growth mindset. And around the health, emotional, and mental, we brought our maintenance engineers early on so that they truly understand how they're a critical part of this preventive maintenance pilot, and that we need them to be successful. And then most importantly, in this case, the predictive maintenance is not going to be replacing their jobs. It's actually going to make their jobs better and actually help them produce better results when it comes to maintenance. So again, focusing on the mental and emotional health of our employees so that they're fully engaged in our digital transformation project. And another thing that we did was we had 3 years worth of digital data, and we actually took 2 years of data and gave it to our data scientists, and they ran it through their algorithms without engaging the maintenance engineers at all. And really, we did this because the maintenance engineers were not available early on, but we wanted also to do this because we wanted to see, without the maintenance engineers, what type of algorithms can we get. After the data scientists ran through their analysis, they took the last third year of data, ran it through their algorithms, and it only found less than 1% of the unplanned downtime or failures in that equipment during that third year. So this was a great way for us to show our maintenance engineers that we need them during this digital transformation project, because without them just using the software itself, without their expertise, we got really bad results. So we did it the right way, which is we brought the maintenance engineers into the discussion. They gave us the context of the big data, what the sensing information meant, what the downtime information meant, partnered them with our data scientists, and again, took 2 years worth of data, developed the algorithms, and then took the third year of data and ran it through the algorithms, and it was able to identify 15% of the unplanned downtimes during that third year, right? 15% doesn't sound like a lot, but it was a lot, because if you think about the data that we're using, it's all unplanned downtime. So unplanned issues that brought the machines down. So if we're able to identify 15% of those and be able to fix 15% of those, then again, we've got we got a 15% improvement in our machine productivity, which is a great win for the business. And then the other thing that we wanted to highlight to our maintenance engineers is the predictions is just a piece of software, a recommendation. We still need them as humans to look at the predictions and to actually determine if those predictions are valid. And then if so, they're the ones that actually go do the maintenance work. So it's not the software that's going to tell you how to do it. It'll tell you that, hey, you need to go look at this machine and possibly do some maintenance on it. But again, we needed their expertise to actually go do the maintenance. And this was, again, a great way for us to help them understand that they're a critical part of this project, and that they will benefit from being part of this, because now it'll help them improve the maintenance and the uptimes available with their machines. So with that said, I've had a chance to provide you a definition of what human capital is, which again is your employees' skills, training, health, and also their mindset associated with change, and how I think it's very critical for us to focus on human capital when it comes to digital transformation. And then also discuss that the reason why companies don't focus on human capital is because it's not the sexy part of digital transformation. And also, most importantly, it's very hard to measure. But it is something that is critical and you do need to focus on. And then lastly, just quick example I showed around when we did do the focus on human capital, it made the deployment of our digital transformation initiative so much easier. We got buy-in from our maintenance engineers. We got their support. And then most importantly, they saw the benefit of it and was our true cheerleaders to get more of these types of digital projects, digital transformation projects into the pipeline. So with that said, thank you for your time. I have a website here that you can go visit. I have other things that I've discussed and wrote about in videos around other digital transformation initiatives that I've done. And then for sure, please connect with me on LinkedIn. And that is my presentation. So I leave it now for questions.
Thanks so much for your presentation, Hao. All right, so we've actually received a couple of questions. So we have here a question from Renata Decor de Oliveira Perina from 3M. Here she asks, when the core competency from the industry is not digital, which approach do you believe is better? Should you invest on talent skills development or work with external partners?
Very good question. So in my experience, I've tried both, and it all depends on your industry, because what I've learned is right now, everyone has a shortage of digital skills in their organization. So if you try to go external, you're fighting with startup companies, you're fighting with consulting companies, and just a limited set of these skills. So what I've learned is it's more beneficial and better for the long term to focus internally and do a skills assessment inside your organization and identify the high potential employees that you can put them through some digital training to get them to the digital skills that you need. It's a longer process compared to finding external solutions, external employees to go fill that gap. But what I've learned is it's the right investment to make for the long term.
All right, and another one here, we've got a question from Himanshu Gandhi from Fidelity Investments. While building a human-centric organization is an ongoing journey, how much time do you think should be backed into the digital transformation plan to drive this change?
I'm sorry, can you read that question again?
So he's asking how much time should be put into the digital transformation plan to this change?
From a human-centric perspective, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So and that's a great question, because human-centric design or design thinking is what I've used in all my digital transformation projects. So to answer my question, it should be used from day one. What I've seen, and I'll be very honest with you, I did it early on, was I did technology for the sake of technology, right? I took the most shiny new thing out there, artificial intelligence, and said, we're going to do an artificial intelligence project. Sometimes you might hit the mark and you find an opportunity that will benefit the company. But the better way of doing it, as you mentioned here, is take a human-centric approach, right? Go and do these design sessions or human-centric sessions with your organization to identify their pain points, and then go look at technologies that could resolve these pain points that our organization is having. That's a better approach. So from my perspective, it should be used from day one as you drive digital transformation, is using a human-centric approach or design thinking approach.
All right, we have two more questions here. So from Laden Panav from Impact Kickbox. So his first question is, what do you think about the classic workday consisting of 8 hours?
I honestly think that when it comes to digital, or when it comes to just work in general, but more when it comes to digital transformation, we should not limit ourselves to 8 hours. Because the reason why I say that is because there's a lot of innovations that occur outside of our time zone. So it could be that you find an innovation in industry in a country that is not yours. So you need to have workshops and discussions outside of your 8 hours. And then we all know that 8 hours is just a number that was put out there. In digital transformation, it should be, my metrics in digital transformation is around results. So, if you find the right people to be on your team and they're enthusiastic, engaged, and then digital transformation is really cool right now, really fun to do, very challenging, but it's really fun to do. People are going to work more than 8 hours because it's just so much opportunities out there. So I don't really think about 8 hours of work. I think about results. And then if you have that mindset, again, the growth mindset, I've never really said, hey, you come in at 9, you leave at 5. It's really, you come in when you need to go do what you need to do. And then, we meet on a regular basis to find out if you're making progress, and then do what you need to do as a professional to get the job done, irrespective of 8 hours. And from my past experience, if you get the right people, they will work more than 8 hours because it's what they like doing.
Yeah, definitely. And now for the final question, which also was actually my own question as well while you were presenting. You talked about, mental and emotional support to employees. So Mladen asks, can you mention specific measures that you use to support the mental or emotional health of your employees?
Very good question. And like I said, the reason why human capital is not a focus because it's so hard to measure. And it really, hopefully you have an organization that realized, particularly now during the pandemic, that mental and emotional health is very important in our employees because, they're on Zoom calls most of the day, which is very taxing to our mental and emotional health. But the way I like to approach it is to have what I call, in the past, we had an opportunity when we were able to come into the office to go to the break room or go out to lunch and then have just defuse from the daily tasks of work and having a human conversation. So what I've done is I've made sure everyone on my team, every 2 weeks, I schedule downtime with them where 30 minutes, we shoot the breeze to get to know each other as humans. And then if they want to talk about work, we can talk about work, but we've gotten to a point now where we don't talk about work. So that we can have that emotional and mental connection to make sure that in addition to work, we know each other as humans. So that's what I like to do. And what I've seen other companies do is something very similar where they have, and again, in the past, we used to go out after work to go grab dinner or whatever. So since we couldn't do that, we have these virtual happy hours. So again, a way just to connect with people, to show them that you're human, they're human. And then if they have any issues, emotionally, mentally, whatever it is, you're there to listen for them. And that's really helped us out a lot when it comes to emotional or our health, mentally, emotionally. And then I've also learned that, it engages the team because now they understand that we're seeing them more than just a badge or employee number, right? We're all humans and we're trying to engage in that human way.
All right. Thank you so much, Hao, for sharing your experiences and learnings with us. Thank you also to the participants that posted some questions. They were really interesting. All right. Thank you so much, Hao, and we hope to see you again in a couple of days.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.